Okay guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a collective book haul sort of situation. Over the month of September, I have accumulated so many new books that I'm very excited to talk about. So I have two separate piles that I made up. I have a pile of all the books that I bought personally, and then I have a pile of books that have been given to me or something along those lines. I'm going to start off with all the books I bought myself over the month of September. I mean, I would say there's quite a few. So let's just jump right in. Starting off strong, I did purchase the entire Natural series this month. I did buy these books as I read them sort of idea, except the last two books I still have not read. So this is a book series that is really popular right now, and I feel like I've talked about it a lot lately, so I'm not gonna go too in depth, but moral of the story, it is a YA mystery kind of book, a little bit of thrilling vibes, but it's mostly mystery, I would say, and it's a really fun book series. I definitely would recommend looking into it if you think it sounds interesting, but yeah, I have talked about these books so much, so I'm just not gonna go too into it. Then I bought episode 13 by Craig Deluey. It sounds like it is a book about a husband and wife who are really into ghost hunting, and they're pretty much researching about this mansion that held a lot of bizarre experiments back in 1970 and is haunted because of this. And so pretty much they are hoping they can investigate and research about this mansion and maybe get some evidence of ghosts and paranormal activity. And then I have Belladonna here by Adeline Grace. I'm pretty sure this book is part of a duology. The new book just came out, Foxglove, and so it's been getting a lot of hype, and I really want to read the first one to see what it was all about. And it sounds like a YA fantasy paranormal type of book, again with the paranormal theme. I just feel like it's so appropriate for fall and spooky season. But it sounds like this is a book about a young woman who pretty much is raised by a bunch of different guardians who really just want her for her wealth and don't care about her well-being whatsoever. And then it sounds like there's kind of a murder mystery sort of situation that she's trying to figure out, and she makes an alliance with Death himself. And honestly, once I read that, I was like, yes, I want to read it. And I am actually really looking forward to reading this sometime in the fall. It's really high up on my priority list. And then we have The Ex-Hex by Aaron Sterling. I feel like this is the most highly recommended book for this time of year. It's a very fun rom-com about Vivi, who is a witch in this little town, and she puts a hex on her ex. If you could not gather that. After being broken up with, she plans to put a hex on her ex, and it turns out it actually worked, and sounds like 9 years later they kind of cross paths again, and it just sounds like a very atmospheric and fun book. Like literally the first sentence on this back says, "Never mix vodka and witchcraft." Next up is Bright Young Woman by Jessica Knoll. Now this book I have absolutely no idea what it's about. I literally bought it because I love the cover and I'm trying to get into more thriller type of books. So let me just read the back and figure out what this might be about. So this sounds like a sorority is targeted by a serial killer, and two of the young women are actually like trying to figure out who the serial killer is and investigate the crimes. I'm actually kind of wondering if this might be a little bit based roughly off of true events, because it sounds kind of familiar. Let me know if you've heard more about this book and if it is roughly based on true events. It is marketed as fiction, so I'm guessing like if it is, it's very loosely based. Sounds like it's kind of a heavier read. Next up, we have Only One Left by Riley Sager. I freaking love this cover for a thriller. This is exactly my sort of cover. So this book is about a young caregiver who has to work for this woman who was accused of Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. So pretty much the main character is the caregiver of an older lady who was accused of killing her entire family in very brutal ways by the looks of it. From what I've heard from other people who have read this, it's a very gothic, atmospheric type of book, which is exactly what I want this time of year. Once again, all about the gothic, scary, spooky vibes, and this just sounds really interesting. Alrighty, next up we have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Meyer. I think, or Mayor, something like that. Again, this is a book I have no idea what it's about, but it kind of gave fall vibes, so I wanted to read it. Honestly, this book sounds like a really like funny sort of like fantasy book, and it sounds like it follows Evie Sage, who needs a job and somehow crosses paths with this villain who offers her a job. Does sound like there's also going to be a little bit of romance from the sounds of it, and I also love this cover a lot. And it has beautiful sprayed edges. So next up we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. So this book is about a girl who is obsessed with crime, and she kind of becomes convinced that her next door neighbor is a serial killer. It sounds again like it's gonna be a rom-com, very fun and easy. Next up I have Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. This is the third book in the Knock 'em Out series that she has going on, and this is actually the final book in the series. So I feel like I just had to buy it so I could complete my collection, which is right here. And this book actually follows Lucian and Sloane. This is a book I'm really looking forward to. However, recently I've heard some not great reviews, so I am a little nervous. But if you didn't know, this series actually starts off with this book, and it's Things We Never Got Over. And it's a small town romance, and each book follows its own couple, but they're all interrelated. I meant to say interconnected, not related. No. And it's a really cute, fun series, so I do recommend this series. But yeah, I haven't read this third book yet, and I'm a little nervous just because of all the reviews, but I'm gonna give it a fair shot. Alrighty, and the last book I have here is Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. This is the third book in the Twisted series. I have the first two and the last book. So this is the only one I needed, and I felt like I just want to have it to complete my collection. It's not my favorite series I've ever read, but it's definitely fairly fun. And I also really just liked the covers of these books, so I was like, I might as well buy them. I say that, and these covers are literally like $27, so my bad. Those are all the books I purchased. A little excessive, I know, I have problems. Alrighty, now let's move on to the books that have been sent to me or gifted to me, etc. Alright, first up, I have recently received Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This was actually gifted to me by my friend Holly for my birthday. She got me a blind date with a book. This was the book that was in it, and it was actually Taylor Swift Mastermind themed, which if you've read this book, you probably understand why it was Mastermind themed. And also this came with a fun little bookmark that kind of gives off Midnight's vibes, which I love. Honestly, blind date with a book is the best gift idea ever for anyone who has reader friends. Now, all of these books have been gifted to me by Stephanie Walsh. She gave me quite a few, and there also are more somewhere, but these are the ones that caught my eye and are going immediately on the TBR cart. We have a Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. This is a terrible cover. Why do they love to have people on covers? I will never understand. This was a book that was actually really hyped up on TikTok, and I have no idea what it's about or why, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. Next up, we have The Hating Game by Sally Rooney. This is actually a book I read a long time ago, or at least I started it. I don't think I actually ended up finishing it, but it is another fun rom-com following Lucy and Joshua, and they pretty much hate each other, and they work at the same company, and I believe they're both working towards the same promotion, and yeah, they just absolutely hate each other. But I feel like that hate will turn into something not so hate, if you know what I mean. Next up, we have Rhythm, Chord, and Malink. I'm terrible with names. But this is a book by Mariana Zapata. If you didn't know, I love Mariana Zapata. She's one of my favorite authors of all time, and this is just one of the very few books I don't actually own already, so this will definitely have to be getting read soon. And it sounds like it's about a 26-year-old who goes on tour with her brother. It sounds like it's a romance between her and the singer of the headlining band, which that just sounds like a lot of fun. Alrighty, then we have the very, very popular The Serpent and the Wings of Night series. Is this what the series is called? I actually have no idea. But yeah, this was really popular on TikTok right around the same time as Fourth Wing, I want to say, or maybe a little bit before then. And I'm pretty sure it's about like vampires and some sort of competition sort of idea. All right, last but not least, in my September Owl Crate box, I got Omen of Ice by, I want to say it's like just a Cardo. I don't know. I'm really bad with names, guys. I'm sorry. This is a beautiful, beautiful book copy, and I'm so excited to add it to my collection. And it is a fantasy book about Catalina? I don't know. Who is training to become a bodyguard for a winter fae in the winter court sort of situation. And her assignment is to the heir of the throne, but he doesn't want her protection. Instead, he actually wants her gone. So that just sounds actually like a really, really fun book. Definitely gonna add this to my winter TBR just because, like, look at this and tell me it's not the perfect winter book. But that is all the books I bought or were given in the month of September. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.